Good morning and welcome back. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen plans to force a vote tomorrow demanding Chief Justice John Roberts subpoena impeachment witnesses and rule on any claims of executive privilege.
So how will this bold move change the course of the trial? Will it? Here to explain, Texas Congressman Michael Burgess. Sir, thanks for coming on this morning. Let's pull up the tweet from Van Hollen here. And this is what he's essentially saying: to give John Roberts a lot of power in this thing. He's going to put in a motion that'll ask John Roberts to basically subpoena any witnesses and documents that he thinks are relevant to this, and also to rule on executive privilege to try and speed this thing up. Does this have any chance?
Well, that's an unusual move, but, you know, look, on the House side, Senate makes their own rules. The Senate will vote on that. I have serious doubts that that motion that Senator Van Hollen has put up will actually pass. But, you know, I can say this about the issue of witnesses on the House side. I'm on the House Committee on Rules. The night before the articles of impeachment came to the floor of the House, we had to write the rules that would allow the debate on the articles. And many of us were concerned on the Republican side, well, number one, because they hadn't allowed any Republican witnesses to be called. So we brought up the issue of witnesses, and we were assured that all of the witnesses they needed to hear from had been heard from, and this was such a serious issue of such significance for national security that there could be no delay, and it had to go to the floor tomorrow morning and be voted on. And then, of course, as we all know, they delayed another 30 days, and now they say, well, we don't have enough witnesses. It really can't have it both ways. Their assertion was they had heard from all the witnesses that need to be heard from.
Interesting. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what Newt Gingrich had to say. This is on Hannity last night, and we'll get you to react on the back end.
Sure.
This is not an inquiry into what happened in Ukraine. This is an impeachment trial. I think it is an absolute game for any of them to vote yes to have more witnesses, because the witnesses aren't going to change anything. This is not an impeachable offense.
Sir, do you agree with him? I mean, it's coming down on both sides here. Agree and disagree with that thought.
The main principle, of course, I agree with the former speaker. I hold him in very high regard. But the issue is not going to change. The outcome is not going to change. And we've known the outcome of this charade right from the beginning. At the end of the entire process, Donald Trump is the president, and there's an election in November. Those facts aren't going to change.
Nancy Pelosi said that, you know, they didn't call Bolton and Mulvaney, these others, because executive privilege would have taken this to court. They didn't know how long that was going to take. Has anything changed at this point? I mean, now we're going to drag it out starting now rather than in December?
Well, it could. That's the gamble. Obviously, the senator from Maryland feels that he can get Justice Roberts to change the rules in the middle of this Senate trial. I don't think that will work, and I don't think there will be the votes to do that.
Okay.
Let's shift gears now and talk about the coronavirus, because as we know, this outbreak tops, it's nearing 8,000 cases in China at this point. This has exceeded the SARS epidemic, and I understand that you were briefed by the CDC. I mean, we have so many questions here. The first, I guess, is, do you feel as though we're getting all of the information from China? Is everything we're hearing accurate?
I can't speak to the accuracy of what we are hearing. Look, China has imposed the largest quarantine that I guess has ever been imposed in the history of public health. They've closed down a city of 10 million people where the epicenter of this virus is. Yeah. Now, that's a good thing from the standpoint, more people with an infection won't be traveling out. The bad thing is there's also a news blackout, so we really don't know. Now, I do know that our CDC and our NIH and our Secretary of Health has been trying to work with the Chinese, get them to allow our help, but because, you know, look, it's a China problem to be sure, but it could become an America problem, a worldwide problem, and we do need to be cognizant of that.
And hopefully you're feeling more confident after you were briefed by the CDC?
Well, I'll just share with you, I'm as worried about this as I've ever been. Okay. I came here, the year I came here, SARS was the thing. We went through 2 different versions of the bird flu, the swine flu, Ebola, and Zika. But this one actually concerns me more than any of those episodes. It is evolving daily. People do need to pay attention to the restrictions and the advice that's put up on the official website. Sure. Yeah. No travel to China right now should be undertaken. My personal preference would be to not allow anyone in from China. I realize that's difficult to do, but there must be a great deal of circumspection of anyone who's coming in.
Very careful.
Yes,
sir. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
20 minutes after the hour.